Mother insists on preferential handling for her son at the sports camp, but I grapple with the moral conflict of favoring his requirements over the other children. I, 20F, have led a sports camp during the summer for several years now at my nearby elementary school. The camp includes various sports and activities for elementary school children to experiment with different sports and discover which ones they might like. This year, we've launched an integration initiative for children with autism, where dedicated support staff are present at our camp to specifically assist those kids and guide them through the activities if necessary. I've truly appreciated this initiative, and there's nothing more rewarding than seeing a child discover a sport they love or succeed in. Moving ahead to this week, the third week of the camp, and here comes Connor and his mom, Sarah, using a pseudonym Zav. Connor is 10, on the upper end for this camp, and when we initially encountered him in the morning, he appeared to be a fairly cooperative child for camp activities. The issue arose with his mother. She took me aside prior to the start of the day to explicitly inform me about Connor's needs. It emerged that Connor experienced intense breakdowns, and the trigger was defeat. His mother requested that I ensure Connor never faced loss in any game. This encompassed his team always winning, allowing him to triumph in all races, guaranteeing his team finished first in relays, preventing him from being tagged in tag games, and avoiding his elimination in any type of survival-style game. I informed her straightforwardly that I couldn't manage that, and it would be unjust to the other children if I instructed them to constantly allow him to win. She was displeased with this and explained that they were attempting to prevent breakdowns this week, and he was progressing on it, but losing remained highly distressing for him. I advised her that she probably shouldn't have enrolled him in a sports camp if she believed it would cause him upset or require all the other kids to accommodate him. She questioned what the purpose of the integration initiative was, and I clarified that it involved me as a coach providing assistance to him and his support specialist aiding him. But the other children weren't part of this integration effort. She departed quite upset, but left Connor with us for the day, during which he had 2 breakdowns that the support specialist managed. But I began to feel remorseful. The entire goal of the program was to enable kids like him to join in, but I didn't want to compromise the other kids' enjoyment solely for him. So, Ida, edit, thank you so much for your interactions, but here's a few quick details that I think got lost along the way. 1, this is not just a camp for neurodivergent kids. We brought a program in to integrate those kids in with the neurotypical kids. Over the past 3 weeks, there's been about a 10-to-1 ratio of neurotypical to neurodivergent. 2, this is a pretty small camp, 20 to 30 kids max, and my neighbor used to run this camp when I was in high school, but when I graduated, he handed a lot of it over to me. He now runs the financial, location, marketing, and legal stuff, while I organize most of the camp itself along with a few other coaches, 2 of whom are still in high school, 2 in college. There isn't really a supervisor or higher-up I can hand the mother over to except for the inclusion specialist. Hope this helps. Edit 2. Sorry, I don't hire the inclusion specialists, nor do I know exactly what they're qualified with, but they are working through a separate program outside our camp that we partnered with. They match the neurodivergent kids 1-to-1, and they are provided with all the information with the kids, including lists of trigger and what calms them down. They are all qualified adults, real adults, not college students and high schoolers like the coaches. And as far as I could tell, they handled Connor's meltdowns with a lot of patience and expertise, and got him back to playing with the other kids within a half hour or so after each inciting incident. When I originally told Sarah that the Camp W as likely not a good fit for Connor, I was more thinking about how the kid would be miserable in a cycle of meltdowns all day, and not about the qualifications of the inclusion program. Update 1. I also want to explain why I originally thought the camp wouldn't be a good space for Connor, and how I was proven wrong. I've always seen the camp as a place for kids to have fun and try new things, and I didn't consider its value as a space for learning to manage triggers and work through emotions since we just introduced this program this year. From the way Sarah described Connor's emotional state, I heard about a kid who would likely hate most parts of the camp we ran, and would be very unhappy for 7 hours a day for a week. While I understand the value of working through those upsetting emotions, the camp I run is meant to be fun, not stressful, or akin to a therapy session. I felt this way because I grew up with pretty severe anxiety related to school, and I would have panic attacks before tests. So trying to imagine my parents sending me to a big test camp for some exposure therapy during my summer break sounded horrible. Ignoring any sort of disability, competitive sports don't mesh well with certain personalities. While they have always been a great outlet for me, I see kids all the time who really don't enjoy how competition makes them feel emotionally or physically, but are pushed into them by overbearing parents trying to relive their glory days. Ultimately, once I explained to Sarah that I wasn't going to rig the games, I understand now how saying he shouldn't be at the camp had the wrong connotation. But I wanted the kid to have fun, and I didn't want to place him in a position he couldn't do that. Ultimately, I was wrong, and even with the meltdowns he's had, I think the inclusion specialists are really helping him, and I still agree with most of you that Sarah was unreasonable. However, I also do stand by the fact that if Connor was as volatile and emotional when he lost as his mother made him seem, I don't think the camp would have been a good place for him yet. Turns out it was, and I'm glad Sarah left him with us.